What can you say about Ken Climo that hasn't already been said? 12-time world champion, 5-time US champion, 18-time major champion, 229 career wins, the champ. As nicknames go, that's about as good as it gets. In late 2024, Ken Climo caught everyone by surprise when it was announced he was leaving Innova after 26 years. Soon after, Climo and Discraft announced an all-new company, Climo Disc Golf, would be manufactured by Discraft and designed in collaboration with Climo himself. And this is their latest disc, an understable distance driver, the Osprey. And we want to know how it compares to several other understable drivers also made by Discraft, because the disc is in the details. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and today's video is sponsored by Smuggler's Notch Resort. More about them a little bit later. Earlier this year, we threw the first 3 prototype molds in the Climo line in a video about the future of Discraft. But it seems some of you missed that video, because we've had quite a few comments asking us to cover the Climo line in our first impression series. So let's recap. The Climo line was introduced with these 3 prototype molds: the Champ, which is a neutral putter, the Bel Air, a wide diameter, stable to overstable midrange, and the Skyway, an 11-speed distance driver. Unsurprisingly, each of these discs seems to sort of mirror a disc that Ken made famous during his time with Innova. The Champ is quite similar to the KC Pro Aviar, while the Bel Air, being a wide diameter, flat top beaded midrange, will undoubtedly draw comparisons to the iconic Innova Rock. And the Skyway, from the flight numbers alone, shapes up perfectly to be the Wraith of the Climo line. Now, we put all 3 of these discs through their paces in that video, and we found the Champ to be a straight to slightly overstable throwing putter for slower backhand throwers, such as myself. The Bel Air in both plastics was a straight to overstable glidey midrange with fairly accurate flight numbers of 5402. And finally, the Skyway, in their major line plastic, is designed to get easy distance for most players. And it did. But the Champ, Bel Air, and Skyway aren't why we're talking about Climo discs today. Today, we're testing out the latest prototype from the Climo line with the help of this guy. This guy is Aidan Trombley. Aidan is a 958 rated disc golfer sponsored by Discraft Underground, and also has the best job title of anyone I've ever met, the Director of Disc Golf Operations. We met him at the Disc Golf Expos earlier this year, and thanks to him, this video is sponsored by Smuggler's Notch Resort. Smuggler's Notch Resort in Jeffersonville, Vermont is home to 2 of the highest rated disc golf courses in the world, Brewster Ridge and Fox Run Meadows. We recently visited Smugs for the first disc golf stay and play weekend of the year. They have several stay and play weekends throughout the summer months, and in addition to lodging, access to these iconic courses, your stay also includes a 9-hole glow round, where trees and OB lines are marked with colorful lights. You also get breakfast vouchers to enjoy the dangerously delicious Vermont maple syrup, as well as a Vermont craft beer package. You would struggle to find a location better suited to a disc golf vacation than Smuggler's Notch Resort. From the fun zone, great food, and much more, there's fun to be had for the whole family. You can learn more about booking your disc golf stay and play weekend at smugs.com at the link in the video description, or call Group Vacations at 1-800-521-0536. And to help you make your decision, we shot several videos during our trip to Smugs, including a vlog of our entire trip and an 18-hole Q&A walk and talk round at Fox Run Meadows. So make sure you check those out to see what it's actually like to stay and play at one of the world's best disc golf properties. Use code 6sided to let them know we sent you. And thanks again to Smuggler's Notch Resort for supporting our channel. Now, back to the Osprey. The Osprey is a 10-speed distance driver recently released as a prototype in Climo's Victory line. The Victory line plastic is stiffer than their first plastic, Major line, and it looks and feels a lot more like Discraft's Z plastic, though it's definitely a bit softer. The Osprey is a shallow 10-speed distance driver, and what sets it apart from just about any distance driver I've seen before is its beaded rim. It's not uncommon for putters, approach discs, and even mid-ranges to have a little bead on the rim, but far less common for drivers. And not only does the Osprey have a bead, but the bead is really wide and smooth. I don't think I've seen anything like it on a driver before. Rated at 10.6, -3.1, the Osprey has very similar flight numbers to several other discs made by Discraft. And we figured since we're shooting with Aidan, a Discraft-sponsored player, it would be the perfect time to figure out the difference between the Osprey and a couple other discs made by Discraft. Rated with nearly the exact same flight numbers, the Avenger SS had to be part of this comparison. It's unusual for a company to make so many discs with very similar flight numbers, but Discraft takes it even farther because they also make the Heat, rated at 9.6, -3.1. But while their numbers are similar, their designs are not. The Heat feels much smaller in the hand, and most Heats tend to be pretty domey. The rim on the Heat is convex, which is odd because most discs are concave, like this one, the ThoughtSpace Persona. ThoughtSpace Athletics, whose previous molds were almost all made by MVP, have recently entered into a manufacturing partnership with Discraft. The Persona is the second disc made for them by Discraft, following up the beautiful swirly Expanse in parallel plastic. This Persona is in their Vex plastic, which looks and feels a lot like Metallic Z. The Persona is an 8-speed fairway driver rated with 5 glide, -3 turn, and 1 fade. So just how different can 4 discs be? All made by the same company with almost the same flight numbers. Well, first let's see each of these thrown on a slight hyzer and with a bit of power. And that's 4 discs thrown the same way that all get a pretty similar, slowly turning and drifting flight. Now you may have noticed something different on those throws, and that is this guy. Allow me to introduce you to the newest member of Team Six Sided Discs, Josh Alexander. Josh is a good friend of ours, plays in MA1, and is 937 rated. He'll be helping us out with content alongside Caleb and myself, and I'm sure a few others, so make sure you show him some love in the comments below. We're excited to have him on board. What Josh, Aiden, and myself learned as we continued to throw these discs is that there is very little to choose between them. Each of these discs is capable of getting reliable turn. If you throw them on hyzer with some power, they're happy to flip up to flat and drift. But what we also learned is that by manipulating the angles, you can start to see just how versatile these discs can be. For example, some people prefer a hyzer release, and if you do, you can throw the Persona like this, and then you'll find that it can slowly flip up and turn, and you end up with a fairly straight shot, even if you catch a bush in the middle of the fairway. You can achieve something very similar with the Osprey. Utilizing all of this narrow fairway at Brewster Ridge, Aiden releases the Osprey on a lot of hyzer. It then flips to flat, but instead of turning, holds flat briefly before it slowly fades back down the fairway. Manipulating angles, though, is only part of the story, because if you're comfortable manipulating your speed, you'll find these discs are exceptional for a number of uses. For example, throwing the Persona at lower power gives it a much more subtle turn, and in some cases, it will even have time to fade back. In other words, easy distance. Similarly, you can throw the Osprey with less power and achieve a nearly identical flight path. A few years ago, we did a video on the Discraft Heat, and on my backhand, it also showed just a little bit of turn before fading back. So all 4 are capable of huge turnovers without much power. All 4 can hyzer flip down narrow fairways, either pushing straight, slowly fading, or even finding a little late turn. And all 4 are quite good at a variety of arm speeds. Slower arms will find easy distance. Intermediate players will find easy shot shaping. And big arms can get some big turnovers and even huge rollers. Ultimately, Aiden, Josh, and I agreed that the flights of the Osprey, Heat, Avenger SS, and Persona weren't really that different. Now obviously plastic and weight can be a factor, so you should expect some variation from run to run. But while they have that similarity in flight, they also have such a different shape and feel to them, which means they do appeal to a wide variety of players. Some players may not like the shape or feel of the rim of the Heat, for example, as it's much more unconventional. And so they can easily substitute the Persona or the Avenger SS to get a fairly similar flight. And that means that no matter how you throw, you should find one of these discs not only flies great for you, but feels great too. What do you all think of the Climo Osprey or the ThoughtSpace Persona? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, tell us what discs you'd like to see us explore next. Thanks again to Smuggler's Notch Resort for sponsoring today's video. Visit smugs.com or the link in the video description to book your disc golf stay and play weekend. Remember, the disc is in the details. For Six Sided Discs, I'm Greg. We'll see you in the next one. Today we're testing out the latest prototype. Blah, 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 blah. Persona, slip up. Persona's gonna steal the show. Nice catch, Bush. Today we're testing out the new prototype Osprey. What am I trying to say? Maybe I should read it. Oh yeah, there's the drift.
Yeah.
Oh!
What a crazy kick.
What did that hit? Manipulating angles, though, is only one part of the equation. Because if you can manipulate and adjust your...
Ooh.
This would be a perfect opportunity to see if there's really anything different about these discs. No. Nope. If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or becoming a member. Your support makes this content possible.